Thanks, Tom. Well, in a time where constant stories of bullying are becoming normal headlines, this next story might be a refreshing surprise.
A young man in Sonora who was once bullied now has an entire community behind him. Anam Valiani reports.
I think I'm starting something.
A football legend who doesn't play on the team. It's a tradition in Sonora that started 3 years ago with Mace Joy.
Our first game out, they let me know, well, Mace Joy is going to lead the team out on the field. And, I said, okay, that's great. Who's Mace?
Now there's few who wouldn't be able to recognize the 18-year-old from his evergreen smile to the way he can spread it to others.
He's just real happy all the time, just a joy to be around.
And he's really funny too, because you never know what he's going to say.
Except when it's about football.
Bronco.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to walk you out,
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Better not fall asleep.
Mace calls it his responsibility, one he was given when he was asked to lead the playoff team out at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Now 3 years later, Mace is a pro at getting his team fired up under that tunnel.
We just really depend on him a lot to get us going and start us off, and it'd just be tough without him. He's more pumped than the football players are sometimes.
And no one can do it better than you can?
No, they can't.
Why is that?
Because they just can't.
And that's probably true, because Mace is just different. He was born with a disability that stunted his muscle development and caused weight issues, among other things.
Mace has Prader-Willi syndrome, and they tend to pick something where they obsess about something. Well, for Mace, it's football.
But it would be too unsafe for Mace to play the sport, though sometimes he tends to forget, like during the 50-meter dash in the Special Olympics in his sophomore year.
I was running to get to first place, And there was another kid fun of me. And he was running and I went over there. I was trying to tackle him.
That's when the packed crowd all stood in unison.
And everybody said, "No, Mace!"
Mace didn't end up tackling the runner. He did apologize, though.
I said, "I'm sorry, I thought I was playing football."
But Mace's story doesn't just involve joy from football. Before starting public school at Sonora, he tried a year in a different school where he was bullied.
They whacked my pants, called me fat.
Sometimes they would tease him in front of his mom, too.
I actually turned around and I asked the student, and I said, why are you talking to him like that? I said, you're frightening him. And she says, I think it's funny.
Smith says Mace would often come home in tears.
It was difficult. It was difficult to watch Mace come home daily and see him get discouraged with going to school and see him get discouraged with the threats and come home ask you about the threats. Well, Mom, what does that mean? Can they really hurt me? Do I have to be afraid?
I told my mom, let's move.
So by the end of his 8th grade year, Smith decided it was time to take them back home.
Kids here have just been raised in that environment, and so when they see someone in need, they're more liable to help than to pick on. And so it's almost like the opposite of bullying is what's going on here.
For sure, if I tried to do anything, I'd step up, and I'm sure everybody else would too.
And that's so important. That means so much to me as a parent, and it means so much to him. And I just think they deserve recognition.
I'm pretty proud of them.
So besides someone who can sweet-talk teachers and snag any date, who is Mace Joy?
We kind of think of him as another coach almost, somebody to play for, keep him happy every week. He's the Bronco spirit of the school.
Others might consider him to be somewhat of a mascot.
But in his eyes, he's not as much mascot he is player on the team. He's just not suited out just yet. He does have a number 10 jersey on each week, so he's ready to play at a moment's notice. He's our 12th man.
But Mace is graduating this year, and as he steps down from his appointment, he has one message for the Broncos.
You gotta keep winning, and you gotta have somebody else walk you out next year.
Anam Valiani, News West 9.